What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. My name is Lamont. I've been a full-time trader for 6 years now, part of the Chart Guys team for about half of that, I think over half of that, where I head up our futures room and, of course, our swing report, which is our weekly publication where we regularly push out ideas and live trade them, updates for the ideas that we trade ourselves. In this week's video, we're going to be looking at how to capture the next big move. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. So if you'll recall, Roku is one of the trades or one of the tickers that we shared some ideas with publicly. They weren't official ideas, but the official idea was broken, and so I moved these, or rather, I shared these ideas with the general public, and it was this activity here that I laid out for people. Right, the idea was that if you saw value move higher for a few sessions, the potential to set a daily lower high under this high here at 75.45 would be reasonable. And so if you saw value move higher for a couple of sessions and then you had to open under the prior session's point of control, so this is Tuesday the 17th, so value moves higher and then you get an open under the point of control of the prior session, such that this could be the daily lower high being set here. If you don't see a move back up into the value area over the point of control and then roll back down under the open, you could sell that open, assuming that that lower high is trying to be set. Your risk on that is next to nothing. And even if you were just targeting the low of the day, the low of the prior day, selling the pass back under the open, your R multiple was 2.75 just to try to get to the low of the day. So, that was, in my opinion, very well laid out. And so the idea now is, okay, well, of course, if you hit that sell here and you got a position here, you very quickly saw double-digit gains, right? You had a lot of time to be taking profits. And in last week's video, we were talking about how earnings is coming up. So you have to be positioned, sized appropriately to hold through earnings, because you could see a big old gap go against you. So if you hit this sell in here, and I think we had another setup in here as well, if you're in from any of those, you should be stopped out of any remaining position now. And the question becomes now, how do you get the next move, right? Because this was quite a notable move out up, I should say. And there's a lot of space for a higher low to be set over 5.02. And these buyers have now traded through these key structures. Honestly, we can probably update this now to this guy over here. We probably don't need this one as much anymore. So we can change this to this over here. That's weird. That's weird. There we go. Okay, so we'll use this as a guide now because this is more local balance, right? It's more local data, so it should be more relevant than the back test of this prior zone here, even though this prior zone was offering us very good guidance. I would not be surprised that if we were to zoom in and then look at the levels, I mean, surely this structure was also telling you it was important, right? Because you have an open here, a move up to the value area high, no follow through, a move down that fails to get to the value area low, move back up, where do you stall? Value area high again. Okay, so I think it's reasonable to be looking at that structure. So the question then becomes, how do we get the next major move? So for Roku specifically, we've just set a monthly higher low here at 5.02, but we do have to be mindful of the resistance here at 98.44. So actually the next name that I'm going to go over is probably better for this setup, but I'm going to go over both because these are, these tickers were covered in these public videos. So on the weekly time frame, also now tons of space over 5.02 for a potential weekly higher low. On the daily time frame, tons of space for potential daily higher low. So now what we're going to do is the reverse of what we did here. The reverse of what we did here, okay? So over here on the 16th, what we wanted to see was value move higher for a few sessions, but as long as there was space for potential lower high to be set, we would be staying mindful of the first time that we got an open where value might move lower to set this daily lower high. So now we'll do the opposite. We're going to wait for value to move lower for a few sessions. So we want to see these value areas start moving lower. And then the first opportunity that we get where you have an open above the prior session's point of control after moving lower for a few. So let's say that this happens, right? Okay, we see value move lower for a few sessions. These blue value areas, they move lower. And then let's say that we get an open over here like this. Okay, if that happens and we move down and we do not take this value area high out or the point of control out, or we take it out and we don't find acceptance over it, then we can look for a buy over the open or over the point of control. Very similar to, well, I guess you guys don't know that. Very similar to what happened with GDX. So GDX was our one of our trade ideas from last week, and we crushed it, right? This was a huge trade and we crushed it. You can, whatever, pause the video and just look at these alerts. It started from here and there's the timestamp if you want. That's, we go over everything. We stop out the initial attempt and then I lay out the next idea for what we should do next if there's going to be a follow-up, and then I walk through that follow-up trade. The next day we got a gap up. It was one of the biggest moves in the market, I believe. GDX on Friday was one of the best movers. Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure. If you can go ahead and double check my work. I have nothing to hide. So anyway, that's what we're going to be looking out for Roku. And I don't really love it as much as Oracle, but it does make sense, right? So we can look for that in Oracle. And just, I think another important thing to consider is, like, even though this trade idea was sick and we had double-digit % gains, right, from it, I didn't personally get it. I shouldn't say we. There was the potential for double-digit gains if you nailed that setup that was laid out a few weeks ago. I forget how many weeks ago. It must have been before Tuesday the 17th. So I guess it was this day, Friday the 13th. Oh, but it was good luck there. Yeah, so yeah, even if you got these double-digit % gains, like, think about it, right? The implications of shorting is you can never get more than 99%, or 100% if it goes to zero. Whereas for buys, you can go hundreds of %, thousands of % even, right? So even though that was a really great sell, we probably want to prioritize the buy because the buy has better % gain implications. There's more positive EV expected value from buys than there are sells, unless you're unless you trade futures, then it doesn't really matter because it's just points, Anyway, so that's pretty much it for Roku. The same exact strategy can be applied for Oracle. So Oracle is, hang on a second here. Oracle is very, very similar, right? We had multiple sells on this. We nailed the sell here, we nailed the sell here, and we nailed the sell here as well. So there were tons of trade setups that were shared publicly, and we covered these in the updates as well. And now, however, we got another weekly lower low that just didn't really see that much follow through. So you had a lower high, lower low, and that was the result of it. So there is still weekly resistance at 111.06, but there's seemingly a lot of these like daily inverse head and shoulder shaping up, like SPY looks like one, QQQ looks like one, the RUT looks like one. So many names look like that. And so for Oracle, then, if you're trying to capture the next big move, what is that next big move? Probably, if you zoom out to the monthly time frame, they're trying to set a monthly higher low, very similar to Roku, right? Roku just set this monthly higher low. So Oracle has the potential to do that as well. If Oracle is going to do that, what do they have to do? These buyers, first on the daily time frame, got to change this trend, right? They need to make a higher low over 99.87, then make a higher high over whatever local high we have, change that daily trend, then do the same exact thing on the weekly time frame, make a weekly higher low into a higher high. So right now, if we do happen to look for this daily higher low, and that does turn into a daily higher low and higher high, this could be the monthly higher low being set here. You see what I'm saying? So it's potential. And then if we do set that monthly higher low here, look how close you are to all-time high. You're very, very close. So far, this is just a back test of the prior all-time high. If they cannot, the sellers, if they can't find acceptance back under this major high, well, then they're not doing a very good job of negating this breakout, right? And so if you do set this monthly higher low here, a higher high is back into all-time highs, So that's what you're looking out for next, for the next big move. You're looking for daily consolidation, let value move lower for a few sessions, and then the first time that you have an opportunity where you have an open above the prior session's point of control, the same exact scenario that we just laid out for Roku, the same exact scenario that we laid out for Oracle, and for the Oracle, we actually gave you the trade zone publicly, right? It was like the video was like time to sell Oracle or something like that. You can go back and review, right? Just do the exact same thing. And if you're not sure yet, that's fine. Don't trade it, Just watch, just observe, paper trade it, if anything, right? And see how it shakes out for yourself time and time again. It's going to take you a few, maybe a few thousand reps of seeing this setup shake out until you can easily recognize not only is it a positive expected value trade, meaning it, it works more often than it doesn't if the context is correct. Not only that, it's an incredibly asymmetrical trade. The R multiple for this kind of a setup is massive. There's a reason why so many traders only trade the open. There's a reason why, because it's when the market has the most conviction, the market moves the best, which means we can position most easily there. It has the most liquidity in that moment. So if you're a larger trader, then it's easier, I should say, for you to get in and out of these larger positions. Actually, when I was trading GDX, it did feel super slow compared to futures. It had good volume GDX, but it was brutal, to the point where I realized that I probably can still day trade futures. I probably can still trade the open futures and these stocks, because most of these stocks, if it's not a Fangman T stock, that's like what do you call it, Facebook and Apple and Netflix and the big tech names. If it's not one of those, it tends to move pretty slow off the open. Many of these tickers, obviously the high beta names move pretty quickly as well, but anyway, tangents. So that's what we're looking out for now for Oracle. And that is, that's pretty much it. That's all we're looking out for Oracle. And really the test is going to be, can they get back into this structure? If they can get back into this structure, the buyers will breathe a huge sigh of relief. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Again, I encourage you to paper trade it, if anything. And finally, let's take a look at XOM, give you another little freebie here. So this XOM trade setup was, I forget when. This one was shared publicly as well. I didn't mean to, but it was like on this day we shared that idea, and then it did actually still hang out in our trade zone for a few sessions, testing the highs of our trade zone, and then move to target. It works again over here, because that's just what you should expect. When the price is just balancing between two structures, right, under this guy, over this guy, you should just expect chopping between them. So that's why this trade zone was set up as such. And so we're back in here again. It's very reasonable next week to be looking for similar plays, leaving this area and looking for another test of here. So again, you can use the session to session setup. The context is a little bit different, but as long as we are hanging out going sideways, very reasonable to be looking for those session to session setup. So here's 3 tickers that have pretty good context. I think I like XOM the least out of all of those, but they all have pretty good context, looking for a session to session setup. This one is not to be looking for a daily high or low. This one is looking for a move above this structure again, and then a move here, because if you're going to continue to hold this point of control, hold this structure as support, then the buyers should be trying to get back to where they last came from. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Yeah. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you sharing some of your time and energy with me. If you're interested in the swing report, getting these ideas to your email, or using our new handy dandy dash or whatnot, then give the swing report a shot. Links are in the description. If you wouldn't mind giving us a like and subscribe, we would greatly appreciate that. Helps us a lot, and it costs you nothing. And so would really appreciate that. Otherwise, again, I appreciate you guys sharing some of your time and energy with me, and I hope to see y'all soon. Farewell.